Hello, Writing Workshop, and welcome to hopefully our last virtual lesson of the semester, entering into Monday, December 6th right here. Looks like a bit of a slim lesson folder. That's because I know you guys are still working on your literary analysis essay outlines, so I'm going to try to keep work to a minimum today, as I know you're working on your own. We'll talk more about that towards the end of this video. We're just continuing our lesson from Friday. Neither of my classes quite finished verb tense on Friday, so today's about identifying and correcting verb tense errors. Since this is a virtual lesson, I would encourage you, if you haven't done so yet, to pause this video and say a quick prayer. Pray for yourself, pray for your learning today, pray for your teachers, that we can be productive this afternoon especially, before you continue this video. All right, I hope you had a chance to pause and pray. What we're doing right here, you're watching our 1206 directions video. I'm going to try to keep this one pretty short, just to set the table for what you need assignments-wise today. Please don't forget to continue working on your literary analysis essay outline at some point today as we prepare for later this week. So you'll notice in our lesson folder right here, 1206 directions video is what we're watching right now. I would clarify, for verb tense notes right there, for most of you, you took those notes in class with me on Friday. If I remember right, 8th hour never quite finished the future tenses. So as we watch this right here, notice that it is from last spring, verb tense spring 2021. It's a bit of a longer video at 16 minutes, but feel free to skip over irrelevant information. So if you're watching this thing, and you see that I'm talking about directions and stuff from my spring classes, you can skip those. You could probably skip the first 5 minutes or so, I would imagine. Keep in mind, too, that as I walk through this, I believe I started with the past, went to the present, and ended with the future. So if you're in that boat where you just need the future tense notes, I would imagine that those are in the last 5 minutes of the video or so. But this is just here for you if you fell behind on notes. I did put a copy of those notes right here as well. There is a practice activity on the back, but you do not have to complete that. That is just practice for what you'll see on your online quiz today. So again, if you need a copy, you can download it by clicking it, or you can just click View to see the notes themselves there. Really, the last thing we needed to do as it pertains to tense is just assess you guys on your ability to work with it. I do want to take a look at the first question together on this verb tense quiz. As it says, the following ACT-style questions all refer to verb tense. For each question, select the option that maintains the correct tense. If the underlined portion is correct as is, select no change as per usual. There are two things I didn't get to teach you about tense on Friday. One is that whenever you're working with a reading passage, or whenever you're writing something, tense needs to stay consistent as possible throughout the passage. So if you're reading an ACT-style question, for instance, and one sentence starts off in the past tense and ends in the present tense, it means that part of that sentence has to change in order to maintain tense. We have to be careful with that with things like the past perfect, because in a sentence that has the past perfect, you're going to have past tense somewhere else, simple past somewhere else in that sentence. But reading these things aloud helps you to maintain consistency. The other thing I forgot to mention on Friday is just a really simple point about verb tense. Generally, when we're writing essays, we want to write in the present tense as much as possible. That's especially true for literary analysis, what we're working on right now, except in anything that you might be quoting that needs to be in the past tense. So you want to keep things true to the text in direct quotes, but for your own verbs, your own explanations, keep them in the present. Let's take a look at number 1. Here's a freebie. Here's one way I can tell that you guys are watching your video. And actually, we're going to do this we'll do number 3. As a boy, Edison was told he will never succeed at anything. And they give us options for what to replace will with. There's no change, there's can, there's shall, and there's would right here. We are given a couple of past tense clues inside of the sentence. There's as a boy, but we also have was right there. Was told. We're looking at the past tense. Was told is technically past progressive right there. So it looks like we need a verb that's going to be in the past tense to keep it consistent, like we talked about a bit ago. I didn't mean to select no change right there. It's not will. Will is used for the present and the future. Now I'm just going to plug and chug to see what makes sense. As a boy, Edison was told he can never succeed at anything. That's still present. As a boy, Edison was told he shall never succeed in anything. Will and shall mean the same thing. So a little bit of ACT logic right there. If two answers mean the exact same thing, they either have to both be right, in which case there should be like an all the above option, or they're both wrong. So it looks like our correct answer here is would. I used my eliminate choices button to get rid of ones that I knew were wrong. I boiled it down to either will or would. Would is the past tense of will. That is the correct answer for this one. Use those same strategies as you answer your other 4, and then you're done with your verb tense quiz. Only other thing that I'll need to move into today's lesson folder is our literary analysis outline from last week. I do encourage you to do at least a little bit of work on your outline today, maybe knocking out a piece of evidence and commentary, completing an introduction or a conclusion. Just make some headway on it today before our before our Chromebook lesson in class on Wednesday. That day will be the last day to knock out outlines and start drafting for your lit analysis essay. Have some fun today as you work. Please know that I'll be available in Microsoft Teams this afternoon if you need my help with anything. I will be using this afternoon to knock out a bunch of grading for all of my classes, so I should be available in Teams as I'm grading.